All right, so I do not have a script, and on top of that, I used to have like an entire write-up for all my wallet security chat stuff, and I made a new computer, and in that process, I lost everything. So I'm going to do a couple things on wallet security, and then I'd like to talk to everybody and let people that want to ask questions and come up and speak have an opportunity to do so, and then just talk overall about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So real quick, a couple security strategies I'll go over briefly. A lot of people don't understand that whenever you're using a wallet that doesn't have KYC, which is know your own customer, that type of information is like your first name, last name, your address, information that's very specific to you as a customer. That information is like what a credit card company would use or what a central exchange will use, such as Coinbase. That information, if you don't have that connected to a wallet, then the only other thing after that would be two-factor authentication that would protect your assets, such as setting up your cell phone or an email with your assets. Right now, in the crypto space, one of the most popular wallets to use is MetaMask. MetaMask is the only security feature that it has is a seed phrase. That is it. So that makes you vulnerable because it's just a one-trick pony. So with that being said, you have to come up with your own ways to protect your assets. And one of the best ways to do that is to use a hard wallet. We have a section in here that's called wallet security. We can link that in the general chat. And in that general chat, you'll find videos and you'll also find how-tos that describe what a hard wallet is and how to install it and utilize it with your assets. So that's one of my major things that I try to tell people is to get your assets behind a hard wallet. And what that does is it just adds another physical layer of security to your assets. But even more, I think education is probably the most important part of all of this. The more you know, the more you understand about wallet security, the stronger you can make your portfolio, the more resilient it can be to being hacked or being stolen. So, one of the main things that people need to learn is the number one rule of cryptocurrency and the number one rule of having a wallet that's not protected by two-factor authentication or KYC is never, ever, for any reason, give anybody your seed phrase at all. Like, there's no reason for it. And I'll give you some examples. So, number one, if you if something's gone wrong and you're trying to fix it, lean on your community. Lean on the people that you know or that you've met in the past or people that you talk to about cryptocurrency or our community here and ask for help that way. The number one mistake people mostly make that I'm aware of, and I've dealt with a lot of people losing money over the past, since April, is that they'll, for example, they can't see their funds or they did a transfer and they want to get their money back because it's stuck, right? And the first thing they'll try to do is go to some type of help center. And when they start clicking around and trying to find help, they'll find themselves for whatever reason at like um at like a Telegram group or some sort of nefarious help center. And what they'll do is they'll trick you into giving their seed phrase because they'll say that they'll unlock your account or something. Once you do that, your funds are gone and you'll never get them back. So I can only think of two reasons or three reasons why you would ever need your seed phrase. If you lose your hard wallet, if your computer dies and you need to reload your wallet on MetaMask, or if you're putting your wallet behind a hard wallet. That's it. There's really no other reason why you'd ever need that seed phrase. And that is the 12 to 24 word phrase that protects your account. Other than that, there's no reason to ever use it. If anybody asks you, like says, hey, can you give me your seed phrase or anything along those lines, do not do it. It should throw up red flags. Go into a community that you trust and ask people for help and say, hey, this guy has asked me for my seed phrase. Does that make sense? And 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, you're going to hear, no, don't do that. So that's basically the number one thing you can do to protect yourself with a MetaMask wallet is never, ever, ever, like never tell anybody your seed phrase, hide your seed phrase, and treat it like gold because once it's gone, there's no way to get it back. That's the only security you have. So to round out this section of it, what I will say is make sure that you have a security function in place to protect your asset. So what you can do is you can either write down your seed phrase and put it into like a notebook. That's what I initially started to do. So I had a notebook or multiple notebooks, and I would write down my seed phrases and I would store them, and that's it. Can put one like in a safe. You can put one at somebody's like that, like a family member. You can store one at their house. But I would suggest you have a redundancy. One of the redundancies that I've talked about fairly often is actually taking your seed phrase, writing it down, and then potentially taking it to a safety deposit box so that it's not in your home. And the reason why that would be is because if your house lights on fire and everything's in your home, to include your seed phrase, you could potentially lose everything, not only your house, but all of your investments. So it's something to consider. Over the past few months, maybe month actually, I was introduced to steel wallets, steel hard wallets. And what those are wallets that are made out of steel that you can put your seed phrases into that are resistant up over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that if your house is to light on fire, that will still be there. It'll survive that fire as long as it doesn't get destroyed by heavy falling debris and things of that nature. If it's just on fire, it will survive that fire, and you'll still have your seed phrase. To take it one step further, if you were to put those metal wallets inside of a fire resistant bag or put them in a safe, well, then they would have an even better chance of surviving. So I've started to utilize those myself as well. I have multiple steel wallets, and I have my seed phrases in those steel wallets, and those are one of my main backups. And I have them put away. Like I don't need them. I don't look at them ever. They're literally for long-term storage of your seed phrase. So that's not something that I use daily. It's not something that I have to carry around with me. It's just put away. So when it comes to seed phrases and stuff like that, that's very important. That's a very important step and a very important thing to consider with your investments. Uh, strong strong nodes and all those type of things get attached to a wallet. So that's pretty much what got me into security, is that I realized that if I purchase a strong node and it's on a wallet, it's stuck in that wallet. You can't move it. So how do I protect that wallet as much as possible? And that's where I got onto the hard wallet. And once you start learning about hard wallets, then you realize, okay, even if I have this hard wallet, look at, now you're in a position where you have to determine how much money am I willing to put in within this one asset. So for example, if I'm not going to be able to guess and learn what everybody in this room makes or what they consider to be a large sum of money. So let's say that you're an individual that makes, let's say $50,000 a year, and $1,000 or $2,000 is a lot of money. If that's your limit and you can't lose that amount because that's a large sum for you, then you need multiple hardware wallets, because there's never a foolproof plan to not lose your assets. You always have to protect yourself and your investments. You always have to have redundancies. So if you have all of your assets on one MetaMask account and it's not protected behind a hard wallet, this is a good conversation for you to be a part of. Start thinking about that. If I hacked your account today, right? How much would you lose? Could you rebuild? Could you protect any of those assets? I can tell you this, if you give somebody your seed phrase, you can't. It's all gone, and there's no way you can recover it. It's very, very difficult for people to ever get their funds back. So let's say you had $10,000 in assets and you spread them out to two wallets, and something happened and you lost assets on one wallet, well, at least now you have another one because you've diversified your investments. This is just typical security and strategy planning to protect yourself. If you put all your eggs in one basket, you're opening yourselves up for a bigger opportunity to lose everything. So consider putting yourself in a better position where you're separating your assets and you're being more diversified, because if you lose one of those assets, let's just say, one gets hacked, and let's say there were strong nodes on there and you had 10 strong nodes on that one account, but you had 10 on another account. Well, at least you still have 10 because those other 10 are potentially gone, right? So same thing with your other assets. Like I do not hold, for example, Ohm and Time and all that. I do not hold those all on the same wallet. I separate them because, in my opinion, they're strong investments, and I don't want to lose both. So if I lost all my time, that would suck. But I'm not going to lose my Ohm with my time because they're not together. If that makes any sense to you. I don't think that it's smart to lump your investments all together. I think it's smarter to separate them. Um, The last thing I'll hit before I want to talk to everybody else, because I think it's important to really start talking to some of the people in our group and learning more about you guys and talk more about what we're going to be doing into the future. Um, I think it's really important that you consider using a dedicated Chromebook for your investments. And it's not a must. You don't have to do it, but it's something to consider. And another thing that you can consider if you don't do a dedicated Chromebook, which I'll talk more about, on your desktop, if you're using a desktop computer, use Chrome only for crypto. If you're going to search the web, if you're going to go do like online dating or whatever else you're going to do, if you're going to get on Reddit, if you're going to do all that stuff, use Firefox or a different browser. But if you're going to use, for example, cryptocurrency trading on a desktop, only open up one profile that's attached to an email that doesn't come back to your name and trade on that one profile under Chromebook. I'll give you another example of that really quick. If you have an email and it's a personal email and your name's Bob Johnson and your email is bobjohnson@gmail.com and you connect that to your Coinbase account, you're telling people that you own crypto. Gmail's been hacked almost every single year that I've known of since it's ever been open. It's been hacked by every single government outside of the United States. It's been hacked by China. It's been hacked by Russia. It's constantly being threatened. Okay, it is secure to an extent, but at the same time, it has its weaknesses. If your Gmail account gets hacked and it's bobjohnson@gmail.com, and they see that you have emails from CoinDesk and Gemini, and all these other places, they're going to know you have crypto. They're going to target you. So consider setting up your investments on a crypto dedicated email. It's something that you should highly consider. If you're going to do cryptocurrency related transactions and you're going to open up a Chromebook profile just for crypto, don't make it bobjohnson@gmail.com. Make it something else. This is to better and further protect you as a person and your identity, especially if you want to remain anonymous. But it also protects you from being hacked. It also protects you from being targeted, because once they see, oh man, this account here has a lot of crypto related emails. Yeah, they're going to start trying to find ways to infiltrate you. And you might think that you're not going to get infiltrated. We'll stay on the exact same topic. An individual that I know that reached out to me for help lost all their crypto, to include several Bitcoin. They couldn't figure out what happened. We walked through the process for days. What ended up happening is they went to a nefarious site and connected their wallet to a bad site. And in doing so, they took snapshots of their computer. While they did take those snapshots of the computer, they found out that that person was on Chrome and that they had Chrome documents, Google Docs. They went back through their Google Docs and found a document that had the word crypto in it that was made in 2017. And in that doc had their seed phrase to their MetaMask account and to one of their hard wallets. They lost everything. So they kept trying to tell me this is impossible. There's no way they could get my MetaMask account and a hard wallet that's not connected to MetaMask. There's no way they could get both. They did. They got both. And the way that they did that is because that person stored that information in a Google Doc on their computer, which is connected to the internet. And Google Docs, like they belong in the internet. So they're out there, they're floating around. So that person made a mistake. It happens. But what the reason why I come on here and talk to people and talk about these subjects is because I don't want it to happen to you. So the number one rule of crypto is don't share your seed phrase, but you're probably sharing it and you don't know it. And I'll give you a couple examples of that really quick. If you have your seed phrase, like if you have a picture of it on your phone, you're wrong. Get rid of it. If it's typed on your phone, get rid of it. Your phone is the weakest asset you have for being hacked. Phones are constantly malware attacked all the time. If you have your seed phrase on your phone, get a notebook or a hard steel wallet and get it on there and get it off your phone immediately. That's really bad. Don't do that. I also don't suggest that you trade on your phone. I think that you should open up a dummy account and use your phone with a dummy account so that you don't have it like connected to, for example, strong nodes and things like that. I'll do more videos in the future and recordings to talk more about that. But when you can create dummy accounts and link them so that your main assets are being exposed. You don't want them to be exposed to your cell phone or whatever you're clicking on. So if you're going to use your cell phone to do trades, use a dummy account. do not use your main assets or whatever you have, your strong or your ohm or your time or whatever you have. Don't use that same account for that. Separate them. Um, so if it's written on there, that's bad. If you have screenshots on your computer, that's bad. So if you've got your like I did the same thing, so I'll admit this. The first MetaMask wallet I ever opened, the MetaMask thing came up and said, "Hey, you're gonna want this seed phrase." So the first thing I thought of was, "I'll just screenshot this. This is important." That's bad. You don't want to do that because what you're doing is you're creating a permanent file of a temporary image that you don't want other people to see. And if you ever get compromised, which everybody should expect or plan to get compromised, so that they have one step ahead on how to protect themselves, right? Because nobody's going to protect your assets more than you. So plan to lose your assets. Come up with ways to protect them from being lost. So if you have a picture of your seed phrase on your phone or your computer, that's bad. Don't do that. And the last thing that I'll say on that is if you have a MetaMask account and you have it connected to multiple computers and devices, and it's the same account, that's also really bad. Because think of it this way. If there was one way to get into your house and it was the front door and that door was wide open, you'd be an easy target. But let's say you put a steel door on that and you put a lock on it and you put a piece of wood behind it so that it was barricaded. Now you have a pretty hard door, right? It's going to be difficult to get in that front door. But if you open up a window and you open up a back door and you have a side door and they're all wide open with a screen door because nobody's protecting that, for example, it's on your phone or it's on a tablet that's on all the time and it's never logged out, those are potential security risks to your account. So I would highly suggest that anything of value gets put behind a hard wallet and make sure that there's only one copy of it and it's on that hard wallet and nowhere else. I would also suggest that you use dummy accounts if you're going to surf the internet or you're going to buy stupid stuff. If you're going to get involved in meme coins and things like that that aren't proven, I would highly suggest using dummy accounts for that type of stuff. Like I said, if you guys go into, let's see, it's in the information section, wallet security content, that will talk you through the way that you can put your account behind a hard wallet. The hard wallet that I use is a Treasure wallet, a Treasure One, which is it's one of the oldest and simplest treasures or hard wallets there are, and it's effective. It works. It's simple. It's dummy proof. There's two buttons on it, and it's super easy to use. I highly suggest people use it. I don't make any money from Treasure. Like I wish I was affiliated by them. Maybe one day we can get them to sponsor some videos. But I highly suggest that, and it has the least amount of problems when connecting to new users and accounts. I have a lot more people saying that they have issues with other devices opposed to the Treasure One. So if you're looking for an easy device to start with and maybe move up to some other fancy stuff in the future, that's great. But I would highly suggest starting with the Treasure One if you can get it. And when you order that, order directly from Treasure, their website, which is ran by Satoshi Labs. Or you can use Amazon and make sure that at the bottom it says, that it's directed or shipped directly from Satoshi Labs. And there's some photos in that wallet security content as well that you can look at that will tell you what you can look for to make sure that it's a good device. But I will also caveat that with, even if your device was hacked prior to you getting it. So what that is somebody will buy that device before you get it. They'll load their own wallet on there and then repackage it and then send it to your house. So when you get it and you put the seed phrase in that you think this is a new wallet, you're actually reusing a wallet that already exists. Now that person just sits and hides in the shadows, waits for you to put a certain amount of money on there, and then they take your money because they're watching the whole time. They just waited for you to put money on there and they took it. That's the risk of buying a wallet online, right? But with this method that I'm telling you guys about, when you get that Treasure device, you're going to import a wallet that you already have, that it already exists, onto that wallet, and you're going to clear the wallet out. So your risk is really minimal because you're not going to use the wallet address that came with that hard wallet. Now, I'm not saying that that's 100% foolproof, but I've never heard of anybody having a problem with that because once they get the wallet, they're automatically putting a new address on there. So that minimizes your risk a lot. But if I personally bought something off of Amazon and I thought that it was compromised, it looked like it was a wallet that had been opened, I would send it directly back and get another one. So don't just think that because you're putting a new wallet address on there that it's going to protect you. I'm just saying that it really, really minimizes your threat. So other than that, like I said, I don't have all of my notes with me to do like a really thorough crypto security chat. I wish I did, but unfortunately, like I said, I lost it all, so I'll have to retype everything out, which shouldn't take too long. It'll take like a day for me to type all that out. But with that being said, I do kind of want to touch on what we're doing and where we're going as a group. I'm not going to keep you guys all night, and I definitely want to answer questions if anybody has any. So, Bourbon-n-Blockchain, one of the things that we really want to focus on is working with new users, people that are new to crypto, or people that just maybe they haven't really explored crypto very much. They've been around for a little bit, but they're stuck in one little spot, and maybe they haven't explored other areas of cryptocurrency. That's really what we want to focus on. We want to be able to provide content to new users and have them be able to come in here and say, wow, I didn't know how to move my assets from Ethereum blockchain to, for example, AVAX. I had no idea how to do that. I got on there, I started asking questions. There were already videos that exist, but right now they don't, but they will. And it was very easy for me as a new user to look at trusted content of people that I know. And now I know how to move my assets around if I want to do that. And it was a very easy step, 1, 2, 3, 4 step process that taught me how to do that. That's the kind of content that we want to start to create. And on top of that, we want to pick projects and let people know about projects that we think that are safe investments. We're never going to be able to tell you 100% certainty that something is obviously safe because we have no control over those projects. At the end of the day, we're investors just like you. We're doing our due diligence and we're going to give you all the assets that we have. We're going to show you what we're looking at. We're going to show you the process that we go through to look at these investments. And we're going to do our best to give you as much information for you to decide and to do the research to make solid foundational investment decisions. So ultimately, what we want to do is give you all the information in one place. So let's say, for example, Smoky Mountain. Smoky Mountain has heard of Ohm. He thinks it might be something good to invest in because it has a pretty solid positive sentiment behind it, but he doesn't know how to get it. What we want to do is if we also agree that Ohm is a good investment, we want to provide you with all of the information to conduct your research, kind of guide you through what it is we look for, give you a little bit of our opinion on where the project has been, where it's at, what its overall sentiment is in the crypto market, and then allow you to look through our content if that's something you're interested in doing. Once you've decided on your own to make that investment, we can give you content to help you put your money where your mouth is, right? We can help you get that money to that investment. Other than that, that is our sole purpose. We are not going to be, I hate to use the term shill because it's just, I think it's a very overused term, but we're not going to shill projects. We're not going to go out and say like, you should invest in this project because of this, this, and this. We're just going to provide you the content. We're not going to provide you guys crap content on projects that we don't think are reasonable projects. But at the same time, we don't want there to ever be any reason why you should invest in the project, right? There's no incentive to me for you to invest in this other than for you to better yourself. That is kind of what we're looking at and what we want to do. While doing that, we want to create partnerships with other cryptocurrency projects. We want to create relationships with cryptocurrency projects. And obviously, we want to bring more members in. We want to create a really good community. And I think one of the main things that we're going to focus on, which, not all communities do this. I've been part of a lot of different communities, and I think it's very important to be community centric. We want to listen to our community. We want to get our community involved. We have a lot of projects coming up and a lot of ideas where we're going to start involving everybody in the community. We want to do polls so that you guys can make decisions on what directions we're going with certain ideas, all types of stuff. And we really want to get people involved. We want you guys to feel like you are part of the decision making process. Right now, all of that kind of stuff is being developed as we go, and we have a lot of great ideas for that. And I'm excited to really get people involved with that. But I think the basic and the most foundational portion of all of that is a community that really wants to be here and be together and have a positive vibe and be supportive. And that's the only type of uh, investors, community members that we will accept. We will not be allowing people to talk bad to each other. We're not going to accept negative behavior. We're going to make sure that you guys are respecting each other and helping each other. And this is a positive environment. Anything outside of that won't be tolerated. We're going to make sure that we, really, really focus on that. And right now, we're not worried about that at all because 90% of the people that are here decided to come here from somewhere else, or they already knew who I was, or they knew who some of the other members are. And we're very, very thankful for that. We don't really have any concerns with our, the very basic community that we're starting with. It's as we grow, we need the people that are here now to set the tone going forward to say, this is who we are, and we're not going to accept that. So, as much as the moderators that we have, as much as Generator and all of the founders are going to do their best to make sure that we police the community and try to keep up our standards, ultimately it's going to be the community members that set the tone and say, hey, we don't do that here. Or sometimes you might have to call somebody out and say, hey, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but maybe you need to tone it back a little bit. We shouldn't talk to each other like that. We should all be encouraging each other to be successful. If you're having a bad day, maybe you need to take a break. And it's just simple things like that. Maybe somebody needs to be reminded that their tone is coming across as aggressive, and that's the type of stuff that I think that we should be able to do as a community. And I think right now with what we have, it's going to be it's going to be fairly easy for you guys to set the tone and create a atmosphere that you guys are happy with. Um, and obviously we're going to help you guys along with that. So if anybody has any questions or wants to ask about the community or ask about me, or some of the founders are in here as well, if they have some questions or they want to come up and talk a little bit, that's fine. But really what I wanted to do is give everybody a platform to be able to ask questions. And on top of that, I wanted to I mean, this is just a small portion of people that have come in, but I am so thankful for all of you that have shown up. It's been overwhelming how many people have come over and they joined our group and they've been super positive. And I don't think you guys understand. There's people in this room right now that have offered to help. We are being offered help by so many people that just want to be involved. They want to do research. They want to be moderators. And it's been overwhelming. It truly is overwhelming. So we are very, very grateful for that. And on top of that, there's been people that have specific skills that we didn't know about. There's people in this room that told me what they've done in their personal lives, and it blew me away. I had no idea. So if that's something that you're willing to help with, like if you're a video editor, if you're a content creator and you're willing to go on camera, like if you're willing to help, or if you have a skill that you'd like to put forward, if you're an artist, any of that stuff, if you make NFTs, all of that stuff, we would love to work with you. We'd love to build a relationship with you. Let us know. But so far, it's been crazy how many people just want to be a part of this and just want to join. And it's humbling. It really is. And I hope that we can create a space that everybody's proud of. And I hope that we can get content rolling that people like and that they respond to. So that's kind of where we're going and what we're doing. We do have a lot of stuff that's scheduled soon. We have some interviews coming up with Prometheus of Heck. We don't have a solid date on that one yet, but it's coming. We have an interview coming up with Weave, which is going to be great. They're a great project. If you don't know about them, Weave is in they're down in the partner section. So if you go down to partner content and it's hashtag Weave, there's some information in there. Go check them out. They're a very, very good project. They have a very good team, and they have a very good concept, and it's reasonable. It's a reasonable concept. They're not formulating something that's going to give you 1.10 trillion APY or anything like that. That's not what they're creating over there. They're actually creating what a lot of these other groups were saying they were going to create, and they're creating a DeFi pool where you can get funds from other DeFi projects and create your own staking pool pretty much. That really is like a yield farming staking pool for DeFi projects. So it's a really cool concept. I think you guys should check it out. And a lot of you already know about Hector DAO and Olympus and things like that. So we're starting to build that content up. And we're starting to put that stuff into the channels, and we're starting to set up more and more interviews. So yeah, we're really excited about where we're going. There's a lot coming, lot to look forward to, and I'm hoping that we can get some really, really good projects on board here pretty soon and set up some fun interviews and get interviews and get people involved and all that jazz. So, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody want to come up and say anything? All you gotta do is put your hand up. I'll call on you. Understandable. All right, there we go. We got one. So I sent you an invite, so you accept it, and then when you get up here, you have to unmute yourself. No problem. So, like I said, next time. Oh, there we go. Now unmute yourself. Hit the mute button.
All right, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. There it is. How you doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. So yeah, thanks for hosting this. I have a couple of questions. So one, what are your thoughts on keeping your holdings on centralized exchanges versus your own wallet? Because one of the things I've been thinking about lately is centralized exchange. They may prevent you from withdrawing your funds for whatever reason. So just curious what your thoughts are on that regarding security. And the second question is, I think I read that you or someone else may have mentioned that this community in the future may go towards a paid model. So is there any idea of when that would happen?
Okay, yeah, I'll answer those both. Paid model first because that's the easiest one to do. We do plan on making this a subscription-based service. I'll tell you a few reasons for that. It'll be $35. That'll be our entry level price at the beginning. We think that that's a reasonable price. Once we start rolling out content and setting up interviews and start filling up our content on our different projects that we're working on. Part of the reason for that, well, we're going to have people that are going to be creating content. They're going to be spending a lot of time on the Discord creating content, making art, doing all types of different things that are going to be related to this. Also, moderation, stuff like that. So there's going to be the aspect of paying people for their time and the quality of work that they're putting into the project. But the other portion of it is to keep out nonsense. If we keep it open to the public and we start doing videos with other projects and potentially being exposed to 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people that are watching a YouTube video, and they can just come into our Discord without any regard or any, anything that's keeping them from behaving themselves. They could easily just come in here and start causing issues, which is going to cause the mods to have to work harder, and it just causes an effect, right? So we're trying to avoid that by putting a small monetary value on it to protect the community. And I think that we've explained that several times in different ways to different new members, and it makes sense. It helps protect you guys, and it also helps us provide really good content. So the first question that you asked, and when you said, when are we going to do that? We're looking at potentially mid-January, like not late January, but definitely like early to mid-January is when we're looking at doing that. And we'll make sure that we keep everybody involved. We'll send out messages. It's not going to be like, all right, guys, tomorrow, subscription starts. We're gonna let you guys know that it's coming. I've got the hiccups really bad. Sorry about that. We'll let you guys know that it's coming. We're not going to try to blindside you. The answer to the first question. So just like when you buy projects, you look at dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out. I'm a firm believer of the same thing with central exchanges. Do not hold $200,000 and pull it all out at once. That's going to cause problems. You should dollar cost average your money out of exchanges. I've been available. I've watched central exchanges pause people taking out their funds. I've also watched them not allow people to purchase funds. and I've watched them not be able to sell funds. They pause that kind of stuff if the market goes super crazy because they're trying to protect themselves. So with that being said, I think that diversification, that's a long word, it's a big word, but what that really truly means is diversifying your stuff through multiple portfolios and projects and exchanges. I only put money on exchanges that I have an intent to move. I don't typically let it sit on there very long. And the reason why that is because I don't own the keys to that exchange. It's not really something that I truly own. So letting it sit on there for a long period of time, in my opinion, is potentially more risky than keeping it in my own hardware wallet where I own the keys and nobody can take those funds away from me, right? So if the exchange shuts down and says, no, we're not allowing you to take your money out, okay, I still have my money. You don't have it, and you can't tell me I can't take it out. Now I need to open up a new account, let's say on Gemini or whatever your, Binance US, whatever it is, and I'll find a new method to get my money off of my hardware wallet, if that makes any sense. So I would just don't pigeonhole yourself to put all of your funds in one place, if that makes sense. And I hope that answers your question.
Sure does. Thanks.
No problem. Andy Bobandy. And once you're done, there's like a button that you can hit that like says move down to audience, I think. Thank you, buddy.
Hey,
What's up,
Dreko, can you
Andy?
hear me?
Yeah, I can
Not
hear
too
you.
much, man. How you doing? Excellent.
Doing good.
Hey, really looking forward to the Discord. I've been a part of a couple groups that you've been a part of and sat in on a number of your AMAs and security checks and conversations as well. That said, those other groups I know who, the founders and the owners are, and have particular viewpoints about them that have changed as of late. I don't know much about the other founders of this Discord, and I was curious. I see them sitting in the audience as well. If they're prepared to come up and talk about themselves a little bit, or if you're able to do that, I'm just curious if you could shed some light a little bit more about the other founders of this group.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can talk about if they want to come up, they can. But so the people that are the founders of our group, everybody kind of has their own groups of people that they do investing with, right? So I'm sure you know people in your personal life that you talk to or that you communicate about crypto with, right? So this was the small group of people that I worked with that nobody else knew because they had different names and different groups, right? So these are people that I knew personally that we were doing investing together and we were all learning together and we all were on the same page of going through this process. I think we all really came together when we started looking at projects and doing research, and that's what I was doing with that other group. So we were kind of working together on that in the background, and if they were to find something that I hadn't seen, it was easy for them to bring it to me, and it also benefited them because hey, hey Draco, I found this project called Time. Have you ever heard of this, man? And then I could look at it and bring it to other people that were doing research, and it was just kind of a very I guess you could say it was a very easy way for them to work with me and also benefit from it within the group, right? So that's where they came from. Typically, not all people that are involved in crypto, as everybody in this audience probably knows, not all people that are involved in crypto uh, talk a lot and get involved in chats very much, but they have a lot of knowledge. They're sitting there and they're watching and they're learning. And that's the type of people that are also involved in this project. They will communicate, they will be involved in a lot of things, but they have their own interests, they have their own way of communicating. So I kind of respect that as much as I can. But they're people that I know very well, and they're very well trusted in my inner circle. And eventually, I think they'll be a big part of this community. And as they open up, you'll kind of see who they are. But yeah, so that's the best way for me to explain it is they're like the people that you know in your personal life that are involved in crypto where you kind of help each other out, or maybe people that you've met throughout the years and you're just trying to help them out, like, hey, have you ever heard of cryptocurrency, and you kind of give them an elbow and maybe they bite, maybe they don't. That's the type of people that are involved in this project with me.
Excellent. So, it doesn't sound like they may be the big, crypto Twitter personalities eat up everybody's feed with nonsense lately. They're kind of more, personal friends, kind of just doing work in the background and keeping a tight knit community. And now you guys are looking to grow a group out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot to be valued from that, because
100%.
there's people in this room that outside of that group that I know very well, that I've never met before, but I know them and trust them. But at the end of the day, when you're really making some big decisions, you kind of want to surround yourself with people that right? So that's part of the reason why those decisions were made. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of really good people that I've met in crypto that are joining this community daily. There's people in this room that are joining and like I said, I'm so happy to have you guys here. And I think that's kind of what we wanted to start this off with, is like a word of mouth type deal, and to get people in here that want to be here, that want to be part of this community, and that would value a community like this. And that's kind of how we got started. So far it's pretty freaking amazing, I gotta say.
Yeah, I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much for your questions. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm gonna open book. I'll answer whatever you guys got. If there's anything else, crypto related or security related, I don't want you guys to feel like you're being gypped on the security portion of it. I typically do a security chat for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I would like to be able to give you guys that, but like I said, I lost the content and I don't want to just repeat myself over and over and over again. Christine, what's going on?
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for this chat and for your wife's invite to this
Absolutely.
Discord.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you. And it's good to see you again. So, thanks for coming by. We really appreciate you joining the Discord, and we appreciate your content and everything you do in the chat. You're a very vibrant person, so we really do appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I do have I guess two questions. I'm really passionate about making everything very simple. For newcomers coming in, crypto is very fast paced. One day in crypto is like 60 days in real life.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on creating a platform that might be a 101, kind of a library or index of some sort, to help people coming in really understand the tokenomics. If they're going to get into a project, really help them understand how to do it on their own, instead of just trusting what somebody says, instead understanding what something truly means in the DeFi world.
Yes. So, like, a long-term goal of this project is to get to a point where, so several people have asked me, you say do your own research, not just me specifically, but in general, you hear the term do your own research. We want to be able to say that we're helping our members actually do their own research, and we're providing them with tools to look at, with the empowerment of being able to do their own research. So eventually we want to get to there. I think that's a long-term goal, because the amount of content that needs to be created to be comfortable with that is immense. So yes, the long-term answer for that is yes. The short-term answer for that is also yes. We are working on that. We want to create videos. We're looking at a model of doing short 2-minute videos for intro level individuals, like, that are hitting topics that are very, very specific and simple. For example, how to set your MetaMask settings appropriately. That not a lot of people know about that. Making sure that your MetaMask auto turn off timer is set on, and that you put it to like 5 or 10 minutes, so that if you walk away from your computer, your MetaMask isn't still on and connected to the internet. These are simple little things, right? We're going to make videos on all that type of stuff. But you're also talking about talking to people about tokenomics and all that type of education. Yeah, we do plan on doing that, but I think that there's a lot of content to go around, and a small group of people that are going to be creating it. So if that's something that you're interested in helping us with, we definitely, we'd definitely like that type of help if that's something you're interested in. And to go even further with that, I think that we will get there, but it depends on also like the sentiment from the community too. If that's something that people really want, then we could shift our focus to that immediately, or we could split it up, right, with our community members and people that are going to be able to help us.
Makes sense. I like the topics you mentioned. I am a big advocate of kind of 101, understanding crypto, taking it step by step, knowing the basics of it. So you understand if you're going to go out and do your own research, you know what you're reading. You understand the terminology. And two, security. I'm a big advocate of security. When you log on to your computer, what computer you're logging on to, all of the things you discussed earlier. I think every day I'm upgrading or changing something to enhance security more and more and more. So I think it's ongoing. Definitely. Like you said, there's a lot of content just in those subjects alone.
Yeah, and I've been asked several times, like, why do you create security content, right? It doesn't benefit me personally, right? I mean, it does. It makes me feel good that I'm getting information out there, but it indirectly affects me. The reason why I create this content is because I have observed people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's heartbreaking, especially like when a grown man is calling you and saying, how do I fix this? How do I get this back? And you have to tell them it's not coming back, buddy. I'm sorry, but you lost it. And I would rather tell you guys how to prevent that than to have to tell you it's gone. So please, like, I can't plead with you enough how important it is to protect your assets, because once you lose them, once you get compromised, it's over. Whatever they got, it's gone. So don't put yourself in that position. Take the necessary steps now to protect your assets, because if you don't protect them, somebody else will take them.
100%. Well, I like it. I'm a big fan of both of those topics. I'd like to dive more into it. Definitely love to keep learning about both.
Yeah.
So thank you. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And like I said, we will focus on the entry level stuff. I mean, I think that if we do focus on the entry level stuff, it'll help us project into more complex topics. In, like, for example, just to go back to the basics, like we were talking about, if I tell, let's say Scott, I see Scott's in the audience. If I tell Scott about how to purchase an asset, and that asset Weave, and Weave just happens to be on Binance Smart Chain, and you've never been there before, you don't even know how to interact with that, correct? So I have to tell you and give you all of the tools to get to that asset, or I failed you. So hey, look at Weave, it's great. We really love this project. If you have to ask me, well, what do I do? How do I get there? And I don't have an answer for that that's easy and simple and direct, then we failed. So we plan on doing that type of content as well. How to get from point A to point B safely, both on video and on paper, because we have visual learners that can read it and digest it. And then we've got people that are dyslexic and they can't read it and digest it, and they have to watch it on a video. So we're going to give you both. And if we approach everything like that, very basic and step by step, I think that it's really going to help our community members, but it also helps us make sure that the projects that we're going after make sense, if that kind of makes sense to you.
It does. And I'm kind of I think a lot of people in this group that are listening right now, I tend to go from Discord to Discord in different platforms. And I read a lot. And I see the same questions being asked over and over and over again. And they're very simple questions that could be answered with something on paper or with something in a video. But step by step, people sometimes have a hard time digesting something really big. If a video, like you said, was 2 minutes, 5 minutes tops, might be easier to digest. I think it's great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And as we create this community, we want it to be so that our team is easily accessible. So if you have a suggestion like that, we want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable to say, hey, Dreko, can you show us how to do that? And we will respond and give you that content. Like, we want everybody to be, because I feel like sometimes people are like, I don't know how to do this, but I feel dumb and I don't want to ask. That's not who we are, and that's not who this community will be. We want people to ask that, and then we will respond in kind.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for
Awesome.
having me up.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to the Bourbon Boom Cruisers while we're here. Pretty solid group of guys. Just some original guys that first got in here and made some names for their group. So Bourbon Boom Cruisers, you know who you are. Other than that, does anybody else have any questions? We're going to have a bunch of content coming up in the future. Like I said, more security chats, more all of that. Andy.
Sorry, that last comment made me want to ask a dumb question. So I would like some content. I'm hesitant to put, so I spread all my assets across a ton of MetaMask after your last conversation that I listened to. What I have yet to do, though, is attempt to put blockchains that aren't Ethereum behind a hardware wallet, because I'm just afraid, right? Because it's, everything is Ethereum based like that. I don't know, lose access to those other blockchains or have issues moving and bridging, et cetera, with the hardware wallet. So if there's any content you guys or videos you could provide on that, that would be super helpful for me personally.
I'm sorry. So I have a wireless headset and it broke up just for like a hair of a second when you said that you don't want to move. Can you say that one more time, what you're hesitant to do?
Sure. So I spread most of my assets across a bunch of different MetaMasks.
Okay.
And what I'm hesitant to do is to try to put a wallet that has non-Ethereum assets on it behind a hardware wallet, right? So like a Binance Smart Chain or AVAX or Poly Networks behind MetaMask.
Perfect.
Behind a hardware wallet. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. I understand your question now. And are you talking specifically about like my suggestion to put things behind a hardware wallet like a Trezor?
Correct. Yes, like I have Trezors, and I'm good on Ethereum blockchain. Like I'm okay there. I'm hesitant for the other blockchains, and maybe this is just a super simple fix for me, or just, hey, this is how you access the other blockchains behind a hardware wallet.
Okay, so that's a great question. One of the first things that's on that list of the security content is explaining hardware wallets. Once you understand a hardware wallet, it'll answer your question and help you out. A hardware wallet, all it is you're taking the keys and you're removing them from the internet. So when you get on your MetaMask account, the keys are stored on that website. And you enter the keys, which gives you access, and then you put a password on it. And that password gives you access to that device, and the keys are stored on the internet, if that makes any sense. When you get a hardware wallet, all you're doing is saying, I want to own my own keys and put them on my hard device, and it's no longer yours. And the only access MetaMask has is that it attaches itself to what I call a dummy account or a Sherpa. And the reason why I call it a Sherpa, everybody's heard of a Sherpa that goes up to Mount Everest, right? Like they're going to help you get up to the mountain. The reason why I call it a Sherpa is because when you open a dummy account and attach a hard wallet to it, what you're allowing it to do is that dummy account is now running around on the internet and your hard wallet's following it. So you're utilizing MetaMask to give you access to all of this content. So the long answer that I'm trying to give you is, once you take that MetaMask, quote unquote, MetaMask wallet and put it behind the hard wallet, you pretty much have a MetaMask account behind a device. When you attach that to a dummy account, you have both accounts as MetaMask accounts. So everything a MetaMask account can attach to, everything a MetaMask account can download and utilize, all those tokens can all be on that hardware wallet. It has no restrictions like an actual Trezor does, because you're not using a Trezor wallet. You're using a MetaMask wallet. Does that make sense? So you're no longer using a Trezor.
So it's as simple as, right, my hardware wallet's plugged in, everything's behind it. I can still switch my network chain. And the only thing that changes is that, instead of clicking confirm, I click it twice, right? Confirm and then again on the hardware. But it's easy to just swap back and forth between blockchains as well.
Right, because so when that wallet was generated, on the internet, it already exists, right? That wallet it exists in perpetuity. It's always there. Whether you are on it or not, that wallet never goes away and it never logs off the internet. The only thing that logs off the internet is your access, your temporary access from a computer. That's it. That wallet's always there. If you turn off all your devices and I send you Ethereum, you're going to get Ethereum immediately. It doesn't stop, it doesn't turn off. All that hard wallet does is give you access to the wallet, and the keys are within the treasure. That's it. So all of the accessibility, all the functionality it had before still exists. All you've done is protect your assets and taken your keys offline.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's a good concept to learn. So nothing has changed. All you've done is protected your assets. So let's say that you have Time, which is AVAX. You have Ohm, which is Ethereum. You have Klima, which is isn't it Polygon?
Yeah, it's Poly.
And then you've got Heck, which is on Phantom. And you have that all on one wallet, which is a MetaMask wallet, right? If you take that wallet and merge it behind a hard wallet and delete your MetaMask account, you still have access to all of that. It doesn't go anywhere.
Excellent.
So I hope that helps you out. And then when you go through that process and you delete your account, let me know and I'll walk you through it, and we'll do a voice chat together, because it's very difficult to hit that X because you think you're going to lose everything. It's not going anywhere. I promise you won't lose your funds.
Yeah, no, I'll take you up on that. I appreciate it.
Awesome. No problem, man. And I've actually helped other people in this chat and do that. So like, I know how hard it is. Trust me, we'll get through it. It's a good process to go through. Protect your assets, put them behind a hardware wallet.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Scott, what's going on, buddy?
What's happening?
It's good to see you, buddy.
Long time no see.
Not that long, but long enough. Too long.
Yeah, right. So, talking about the Trezor wallet, so I ran into a issue last week, I think, where I was basically blocked from doing any kind of transactions, and it was giving me like super weird error codes and in MetaMask in all of my wallets, not just one. And so like I even got someone from the group, like someone that does like the audits and stuff like that, someone that's way smarter than me, to like look into it, because I had no idea, and I was kind of freaking out because I couldn't claim anything or do anything. I couldn't move money, and all these projects that I wanted, me personally wanted to get into, I couldn't get into them. I was just freaking out. So what it ended up being, which I felt so stupid, was a firmware update on my Trezor wallet. All I had to do was update that on the desktop version, and all of the overflow string errors, all of that stuff, they went away. So
yeah,
just
that was like 2 weeks ago, right? Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, because I remember that firmware update, because it pops up at the top of your screen when it tries to do the when it connects to whatever that is, Trezor.io.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. So and it didn't do it, like they launched on maybe the beginning of December, but it didn't happen to me until like the middle of December. So it was really weird. Like it was working, and then all of a sudden it just stopped working.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I mean, I'm glad you fixed it, and I'm glad that you ran into that issue and got it. But you know what? If somebody came to me with that issue right now, I would shit my pants, because I would not know how to fix it. I'd be like, I don't know.
Well, I was for 2 days. I spent probably 10 hours trying to do all these. I was Google searching. I was doing all of this stuff, and this other guy, he was working on it, and he was sending me all this stuff and other things that I had to things that he was finding on the back end, like developer side of stuff. So I was trying to figure that stuff out, and none of it was working. And then here, come to find out, it was just a freaking firmware update.
You know what? And that's awesome, because I think that brings us to a really good conclusion on this chat, and that's because we're all gonna make friends. We're all gonna get onto this community. Hopefully we find projects that help us make money. Hopefully we'll all find things that we are interested in, projects that we can really, really get behind or passionate about. But at the end of the day, what really we should all be looking forward to and focusing on are the relationships that we create. Because if you make these relationships with all these people, such as Scott and all the people in this group below us, and you come up with an issue and you can't fix it, and you ask for help, and you have a great group of people that you are friends with that can help you, look at how quickly you could find the answer to that issue. Scott might know of that issue and he can help you, and he's willing to. Trust me, if you ever need help and Scott knows the answer, he's going to help you out. And that goes for a vast majority of the people in our group right now, which is great. But those are the things that we should value as a community, and we should be very comfortable in working with each other and helping each other. And that's ultimately what we want to create here.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, man. Thanks for coming over and sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, everybody, thank you guys very much for coming. Thank you for joining the chat. Hopefully you guys learned something or took some value out of it. I do plan to have more security chats in the future with better content that is written down that I can give you. I apologize for that. But that's what happens when you make a new computer and delete old files. You fuck up. So it is what it is. Thank you guys for being here. I look forward to talking to you guys in the chat. And I look forward to having more content coming up for you. So thank you very much. And everybody have a good night.
See ya.
See you, man.